So I'm gonna stand right here like this.
Yeah.
So
Let me do like 5 seconds recording so you can tell me that
I appreciate you doing that. Nobody asks. They always just
say
hello.
good.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Take a look, see if you want it a little up close or if this is good the way it is. We want to do a good job, right?
Steven. Hey everyone. Thank you for coming. Okay. Who didn't I meet? Raise your hand. What's your name? I know. Thank you for coming. Thank you all for coming. I know it's super, I was going to say Super Bowl, World Cup night for the U.S. So usually there's a lot more people, but I'm happy that you're all here. So welcome to AIAM. It's AI Automation and Marketing Meetup. And I've been doing this for over 3 years, I want to say. I started this as a labor of love because I wanted to learn about AI and I wanted to educate everybody else. So I bring in speakers on certain AI topics that I think are relevant for everyone, not just developers, but real people. And it's been good. So happy birthday, America, 250. We're all getting old. Woo-hoo! So I'm, like I said, I'm the host of this. I'm Sharon DeCaro. And I did this because I wanted to help people. And before we get into tonight's presentation, I want to take 60 seconds to tell you what I do. I'm a LinkedIn and a brand strategist. I also do consulting for founders and people trying to get jobs, because I know a lot of people are not working right now, and I help you find a job. I also consult if you have a startup and you want to learn how to get that moving forward. I help you with that too. And I do LinkedIn strategy to update the profile for the keywords and optimization. A lot of people have no clue. They think they do, but they don't. And it targets recruiters and it helps you get a job and also gets visibility in front of your ICP. So let me tell you about my background. Is a combination you don't see very often. I like school. I have a marketing degree and I studied computer programming like in the early 2000s. I also went to school for graphic design and web development. And I did copywriting and went to grad school, all that stuff. So now we're here right now. This is a mix of why people hire me, and I work with founders, and some are building businesses, and I already told you all this stuff. So I do a lot of brand positioning, content, and profile strategy. So after the end of the presentation tonight, I'll have my slide at the end. He so kindly is going to put it in there. And I'm doing a newsletter where I'm offering courses, prompts, the decks, freebies. And so if you get on that newsletter, you'll get those things sent to you. And I'm also going to have my LinkedIn QR code because I'm on LinkedIn. I'm going to be having 10,000 followers very soon, and we'll be celebrating with that one. So one quick ask before we begin. If you get value from tonight and you decide to post from taking photos or you met somebody you like, through business, because I've had quite a few people make connections here. Tag me on LinkedIn if you write the post, please. I want to know that we're doing a good job and that we keep moving forward. Okay. Now, the format of our meetup is 6:30 to 7, we do networking, and then at 7 to 8-ish, we have a brilliant presenter who talks about an AI product. And tonight it's going to be Lovable. And then you get Q&A for 15 minutes, and we got to be out of this room by 8:30. If you park in the building, I have $8 voucher tickets. Please do not leave without getting one. Otherwise, you're going to pay like $36. Let's see what else. That's really it. One more. Oh, huge shout out to Station Austin at the Capitol Factory for sponsoring AIAM. And I do need to say one thing, and I want us to bow our heads and take not a minute, but a couple seconds of silence. Josh Baer, the CEO of Capitol Factory, was killed in a plane crash 2 weeks ago. And it really sent our community reeling. He was an icon in the tech community, and he's responsible for the Capitol Factory. So he had a family. I want us to, recognize this in memory of Josh. Thank you, Josh Baer. Oh, I'm going to cry. Thank you, Josh Baer, for everything that you've done in Austin and for the Capitol Factory. Okay. Okay, so moving on, we're going to talk about our wonderful speaker tonight. His name is Stephen Tran, and he is an ambassador for Lovable. I don't know, Lovable is a really great AI platform, and he's the co-founder and CTO of Soundcheck Live, 3 times founder and Lovable ambassador, and he's building at the edge of AI-powered product creation, workflow automation, and enterprise operations. In this session, Stephen will share a practical framework for using Lovable to turn business pain into working prototypes. He calls it corporate therapy. Start by listening to what frustrates a team, translates those grievances into workflows, and build a clickable, lovable prototype. Iterate with the client and only then define the final scope. This is perfect for founders, marketers, operators, and consultants who want to use AI tools to move from vague client problems to clear, sellable solutions faster. Help me welcome Stephen Tran. Woo! Sorry. Okay.
Hello, hello. Great. Hey, hi, Stephen, CTO, co-founder of Soundcheck Live. A little bit about Soundcheck Live. Started it 3 years ago with my roommate. He's a vocalist, has been gigging for the past decade. Didn't really know much about the live event industry then, but living with him got to kind of experience that whole process. So what we build is a operations platform for agencies and production companies to manage their whole business. So from getting an intake from a client to planning the event to staffing to settling it to like paying everybody out. And what I will showcase today is kind of our go-to-market strategy for how we get customers using Lovable, using all these tools to make it easier to see what value they get before they sign their contract. Because a lot of times before, like as consultants, I was a consultant for Cognizant, my first job, and there you get sent on site, and it's a long process to get some value from to the customer. But now that changes. So with that said, in this new age and environment, 3 things has changed. So 1 is how we consult. 2 is what is the cost of an idea? And then 3 is the process to go from prototype to production. So let's start with 1. What does consulting mean in this day and age? And how does it differ from in the past to what we have today? So before, let me zoom in. Can y'all see this? Okay, great. So before, it was a long process to go from like what a client would want and a large budget, so usually a 6-figure type budget where you would hire like any consulting firm to do a job for you. And usually it's like an on-site meeting, more meetings with internal team and their team, planning on what should be delivered, and then the actual execution happens. And a lot of times, it's not what they want. They have an idea of what they want, but it's not actually what they want. So what we found is it's better to present something because it's easier to say what's bad than what's good. So with what we're doing, it takes 2 to 3 meetings to go from an idea, a pain point, to an actual working prototype that we can present to our users. So yeah, the old way, as you can see, if any of were consultants, lots of meetings. Your days was filled with meetings to coordinate what the requirements were from your clients, to sync internally with your team, and then plan ahead. How long does it take? A long time. A lot of resources, a lot of time, a lot of money. But now we can quickly, like with kind of a therapy approach, how much does therapy cost us individually? And how much would corporations pay for internal therapy on how they're doing things and what their process is like? So a big thing with a lot of companies, and this is the live events industry in general, is there's a lot of different hats involved. So one example is an event. An event is an event to the event planner. It's a performance to the performer. It is a order to the caterer. It is a job to security. It's an invoice to finance. And it might be a shift for the venue. So with all these words involved, that means every person in this business, they need their own curated tool to manage their own functionality. But now with AI, there's no point in having many tools. Like you can have one tool that does everything, where everybody can go and do the same thing. Because I think a lot of problems with businesses now is they have a syncing data problem where you have 5 to 10 different tools, and now they all need to talk to each other, and you don't know what's going on in the business, right? You talk to finance, they're speaking a different language. You talk to event planners, they're speaking a different language. So a big part of this is understanding to the core what is this domain like mean at the entity level. So with our businesses, this is kind of how we approach them, because a lot of times you can't just go sell them one solution, because now each business has a different subset of what this looks like. So if you present them one solution, they're like, what about this case? Like, does this fit with performers? Because I'm managing performers as well. And it doesn't. So it's harder to sell to them, because now you need to make an exception to your platform or your product to make sure it works for them. And they're not really going to sign the contract if they're not around solving the majority of the problems. So with this in mind, you get to see it before you commit. So in my team, I like to say, show, don't tell, because now we can do anything. So why talk about it if you can kick off the tasks now and see something in person, you can touch and feel it. That's a much better product or much better solution. So with that, you kind of have something you can touch, something that's scoped, right? It's harder to scope creep if you're like, hey, this is exactly what you wanted. I built it. and then lower risks for you as a consultant or business, because you know exactly what you need to deliver. A lot of times there's a lot of back and forth of like, hey, I finished. It doesn't work. If I push the button, I was expecting this. And that was kind of more of a scope creep more than anything, because how many conversations did you have before that to get the requirements from the customer? So 2, what is the cost of an idea? It's going to zero. Like all the AI tools that we're using, it's easier and easier to see an idea through. It might not be polished, it might not be the best thing, but at least you can see something from your brain, like come to real life. Yeah. Yes, the process. I made these slides in Lovable as well. Yeah. Go ahead. That's hard. So this is actually one of them, speaking, because who better else to implement your idea than somebody that is speaking on the topic? We're going to conferences, so a lot of live events, conferences in LA and other places. So my co-founder is also speaking as well. So that helps a lot in getting, because the core part of it is trust. Like AI can do everything, but doesn't mean they're not gonna get 5 to 6 figure contracts. You're only gonna get that by in-person meetings. So a core part of our strategy has been like going to events, going to conferences, meeting people where they're at, and kind of presenting ourselves as like, hey, just tell us about your problems. This is the solution we have. And like showing this gets a lot of people in the door, because it shows that we understand the complexity of their problems, rather than, hey, we have the solution that can solve all your problems. No, we're not doing that. We are saying, hey, we understand how the industry works. This is how we're thinking about it. And from there, they're like, oh, like, you know what you're talking about. Let's set up a meeting. And we're like kind of an agency a little bit, where we're curating for enterprise customers, we're curating their interface, their tools based on what they need. Yeah. Any other questions for? Okay. So I like to think about a tool like Lovable as a blank canvas. So if you're creative, you're an artist, this allows you to kind of create without any limitations. Because before, like if you have an existing product, then you're going to consider so many things about what that product can do. But with a blank canvas, with Lovable, it's kind of like you can type into a chat window and off it goes and create something that didn't exist before. So it's easy to explore new ideas in a very fast way. Correct. So kind of what I talked about before, if you have a legacy tool, if you have a platform already, it's harder to build a prototype or augment on top of it because you're like, it can't do that, it can't do this. There's so many things in the back of your head that's limiting you from creating something without limits. But a blank canvas, you can explore that to however you want, how many credits you have, and see where you go from there. So with that, like you can now, for any idea, you can now spin out like n number of prototypes, right? Because why not? And then pick the best one, because since ideas are cheap, bad ideas are cheap to iterate through, but finding a good idea is worth its weight in gold, right? So the more you can figure out what not to do, the easier it'll be to see what is good. And so when anybody can build, taste is a bottleneck. Kind of what I said before, like what is your judgment at the core of things is what will differentiate you from any other business. So like it's harder to remove than to add. And I think that's a core skill set we'll need from here on out, right? Like your house, is it cluttered or is it clean? Like if you have a clean house, it's easier to manage things, but if it's cluttered, then not so much. You can't think as clearly, but if everything's clear, then it's much easier to manage. The third part, so prototype to production. So it's very easy to create an idea. It's very hard to make that idea accessible to thousands of people. It's a different problem, but that's okay. Like we have prototypes, we can iterate on bad ideas, iterate on good ideas, and then we know what to build. Then we can spend efforts doing that and make sure it's accessible for thousands of people. But a lot of times maybe you just want to use it for yourself. Or maybe you want to throw away a website that only functions for a certain event. So let's say you go on holiday and you're planning a vacation with your family. Why not make a lovable site to do that? And everybody has access to it. Everybody can modify it, add in what they want, what their preference is, and you can go from there. You don't need a SaaS product to manage that, but at least now you have one place where everybody can go and add on to that. So with that, we're lovable. We'll get in the demo very soon, but you kind of have a prototype that is more front-end facing, where a few people can use. But those who are tech savvy kind of knows the right side. You need a lot more to get it production ready, to make it accessible for thousands, hundred thousands, millions of users. Like you need a verbose backend and redundancies and security and just a lot of nitty gritty that doesn't really get considered in the prototyping process. So this is the gap that I think a lot of people don't understand or conceptualize, where prototype and production is different camps. I think a lot of people put in the same camp, but it's not. There's so many things you need to add on top to bridge that gap. So like authentication, security, how you scale, how you handle edge cases, because there's going to be so many different types of users on your platform. iPhone, iOS, different screen sizes, like different browsers. So you have so many things to consider that is not in the prototype. The prototype it works for you and your immediate circle, but not so much to everybody around the world. And then you also have localization. So language is a big thing. Does it apply everywhere? And how reliable is it? So under lots of load, does it work in all conditions? Are whole businesses relying on your tool to function, right? If they are, then you better make sure you're reliable. As we're seeing, like with all these AI tools, like every day you don't know what model we have access to, or if it will get rate limited or whatever. So reliability is now a key metric in running a business. So with that said, let's get into Lovable. No. So I will show y'all our stack afterwards, but with this, I guess this is for the audience. What would y'all like to build in this session? And so the nice thing with Lovable is we can kick off many sessions and come back later and review it. So I guess I can. Yeah. Oh, probably I won't have enough time. Okay. Got it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's make it specific. So build a page for like a yeah. So I like to give it little because I know the models are smarter than me. So I'm curious on like what it would do. So a big thing with using AI is testing how smart it is, right? So the more data points you have on like how it can handle vague ask, the more you can adjust your prompts, right? You don't need a super prompt for a supercomputer. It's just giving it more information that might be noise, right? So while this is generating, this is one, and we can come back to it later. Does anybody else have anything they would like to build? Workout tracker, okay. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So I like to think about Lovable as my many to one front end place. And, it's really good for that. Not so much backend. Backend, it's more complex, right? So the nice thing with this is they have a lot of connectors. So you're able to pretty much import whatever tool that you want. So this allows so much customize, like we're able to bring in so much data. So if you have a backend in the cloud, it's just easy. It's easy to connect to this using environmental variables. So, good. Yeah. How do you get the code? Um, yes. So Lovable allows you to connect to GitHub. It allows you to export your code. So you're not locked in to the tool, but they make it really hard to leave because they keep on adding. Another thing with these AI tools is you're kind of betting on a stock, essentially, because these tools get better over time. They're not a static tool. So you kind of bet that they'll keep on improving and add new stuff to the product. And that's kind of how Lovable hooked me 3 years ago. Like it didn't look like this initially. There was a lot of trial and error. There was a lot of unreliability in the tool, but they kept pushing updates, and I'm like, it kept bringing me back in of like, oh, it has all these connectors to a lot of tools that I already use. So they have G Suite, they have Slack, HubSpot, I don't know, you name it, right? It keeps going. So this allows you to have a kind of a front end interface on top of all the tools that you're already using.
Do you know if they have done anything yet to build high level?
I'm gonna answer his question first. Granola, or yeah. Mhm. Yes. So we don't have it here, but we have granola. So new sales would feed granola notes into a Lovable prototype, and from there we have like we're using Linear as well. So Linear creates a customer. We use Lovable to create a prototype. Now we have a link in Linear with the prototype and the customer in the notes, and then we just kind of proceed from there because it has all the context on that. Granola, I think there's other meeting note takers, but should be easy to, yeah, should be easy to integrate any transcript tools into this. And yeah, sort of products, any product. Uh, you can build anything. It's only limit. So blank canvas. It's only limited by your imagination. Again, prototype, not production. So if you want it to be like Facebook, no, they'll take some more work. Correct. So we can go back to, yes. So this, yeah, I guess we should have went back to this. But this gives us, I guess, different visual directions that we would want. So I will pick this one, see where it goes. So a nice thing with Lovable and a lot of AI tools that if you're vague, it'll ask follow-up questions. So it's okay to not know. The model will guide you to a solution. Yes. Lovable's good at prototype. Lovable's good at prototype. The Cloud Code is not. It can do it, but it's not like. It's kind of like if you have Pokemon. Do you use Charizard for every fight? No. So I think of AI agents as a team. You want a team of agents depending on the task at hand to accomplish the goal. Yeah, it's good at front end integration, but if you want like event-driven architecture and like very nitty-gritty, I wouldn't do it on Lovable. It, correct. Yes. Yeah. So Lovable, it plateaus at a certain point, and then you would want to like get it over to Cursor or Cloud Code to get in the nitty-gritty of things, right?
Well, like for instance, I've been using I have access. Fable 5 is down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Immediately had access.
Yeah.
Right? Am I able to do that here?
So Lovable has an MCP connection, so I've used it with Cloud Code. So
But can I switch it to ChatGPT?
the model. So one thing with Lovable is it's trying to be accessible to the 99% of the population. What you want is a tool that's already limited to the 1% of the population. So I kind of think about Lovable as Apple versus Microsoft. When you buy a Mac, they make it really easy to get started and set up. With Lovable, you saw me, like I didn't have to do that much. We're not doing connections right now, but a few prompts, it's able to go off and generate something with minimal setup. So this means that your parents, anybody that's not tech savvy, can quickly go in and like.
Now, are you familiar with it? I'm pretty sure. Now, can we give it like an SDK prompt as well? Like give it a prompt with make crazy like.
It could, yeah. So
I know they made $1 billion. Like,
yes.
I mean, I feel
Yeah.
like every tool is like
Like Claude means CLI, right?
you
Like
got perversity, you got perplexity, emergent. Even talking to Claude too. You don't have to break up Claude.
right, right.
But which is interesting because I've been
Yes.
seeing love. Biggest difference with Claude is Claude is Claude. There is
You can definitely build that line. Yes. Not the rockets. The rockets somewhere else. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. Great. So with minimal prompts, it was able to generate this. A nice thing with this is I like Lovable because under 5 minutes, I can go from idea to prototype and share it with people. So that's the main benefit from anything else. Cloud Code, all that, it doesn't have infrastructure built in where you can deploy and share. Maybe it does, but Lovable, I think their main selling point is that it's able to quickly generate a website that you can share with people that works somewhat. Looks like this has artist pictures. So from here we can iterate, right? You can import your pictures, import stuff about you as an artist, and go from there. So after a couple prompts, you should have a good enough website that you can share with your friends. This workout buddy is still going. No. No. So what we do is take all their feedback. We have a baseline platform, so we're just building off of that, and then we're branding it to them. So it has their logo, it has everything. We add auth, so now they have a login that only they can access, and then we buy them their own domain. So we just say companydemo.com or something that feels very personal to them, because what's $10 in a 5 to 6 figure contract? Nothing. So some upfront investment, but not too much on our part. But from there, they know exactly what they're going to get. Yeah. You had a question. With
CRM background heavily used in they've gotten very big traction with CRM or not just the small founders, but I'm seeing it now more aggressively, seeing it white label, right? One of the main things Go High Level wanted to do is white label it and then resell it to somebody. This is somebody's really go high level brand. So what I'm seeing though is a challenge with go high level APIs and infrastructure to connect with other AI. And it came up yesterday, someone was willing to pay me to start looking for a way to map their go high level, which they're invested, they've already invested time and money.
Mhm.
That they can't just jump ship to another platform. But there's a challenge where it's not able to integrate with an AI they want to integrate it with in-house. Or have they had success even trying to get it to connect with their one of their core bottlenecks and problems with is getting this to connect, get go high level to connect to something like Lovable to present the prototypes that they want to be able to present to businesses and incorporating their agencies.
Right.
Yeah, I was trying to look into that, and I think where they're hitting a bottleneck is they're hitting error codes with that they're not able to get answers for. that, but I want to go back to what you were talking about. You encountered with the way you position prototypes, you encounter folks, or haven't encountered yet, folks go high level.
We're doing it internally, so we're not like consulting outside for other tech businesses to implement Lovable. We're using Lovable internally, using our own tools. And luckily for us, our tools have like our AI. It's kind of like what I was saying earlier about like Pokemon. With your tech stack, the easier it is to integrate with all the other ones, the better time you'll have because they're all connected. But go high level or any other like tools that aren't in the ecosystem, it's harder. So that's another thing to consider, your tech stack. Because if you're on the old tech stack compared to everybody on the new tech stack, they have a significant advantage. Because, yep. So workout tracker. Good enough, I guess, in this regards. It can be better colors, but it looks like it works. Let's click some buttons. And yeah, it's able to save information and we can, the nice thing with this is it gives you follow-up prompts. So even if you don't know what you want, which a lot of times we don't, right? Kind of like painting, right? Where do we go from the first stroke to the second stroke? It kind of guides you. Oh. Yeah. No. So you publish it. So yeah. So I would publish this app. It doesn't have. Lovable is a hosting site as well. So that's a nice thing with it. Like you can go from idea to something that you can share with anybody in less than 5 minutes. Yes, Lovable host. If you ask it to save the data. So with this, there's no like user management. So where would like that's some, yeah. Yeah. But if anybody goes to this website, you should be able to access it now. Yeah, Lovable has a backend. Correct. You can do everything, but it plateaus after a certain point. So I like to push it enough until it's like, okay, I need to go to Cloud Code. I need to go to Cursor or port certain aspects to another tool. Bolt, Replit, Bolt, Replit, Base 44. There's a lot of tools. Branding is a big thing. Lovable, like I just Lovable, like it's just so easy to to say. Good. No. Okay, we'll circle back. Got it. So okay. So yeah, it's able to publish this. So if anybody wants to put this URL in, you should be able to see this app. But I will go back to the slide. So from there, you saw what it's capable of. I can show a lot more. We can go on hours on this, on connecting and doing stuff. But I think y'all get the gist of how powerful the tool is and what it can do in a very short amount of time. So yeah, this is kind of what we just did. And I think a lot of y'all are curious on this. So this is kind of our internal process to go from idea to production. So in Lovable, this is where we have our research. This is where we host our landing page, because why not? It doesn't need a backend. And we can quickly iterate and let the marketing team, sales team take care of it. It has our prototypes. It has our enterprise demos. And it has our internal tools. So you saw all the connectors. It's a pain to do that in a production-like manner, like to deploy internal tools and provision all that. So why not do it in Lovable where it can connect to all the tools that you're using and it has the context of all that data. So kind of moving on to the production aspect. This is where you can port over your code to Cursor, where you can quickly iterate and do all the fine-grained things that needs to happen. We use Greptile for our code review tool. Since agents are doing everything, it's a bottleneck to read code now. I would rather not do that. So have another agent that specializes in security to do so. Mitlify is our documentation agent. So this is how our users, our internal, knows how the platform works. Because when things are changing so often, what's the source of truth? Nobody wants to read the code. Azure, so we're focused on reliability. So any cloud platform would do in this. In our case, we use Azure. And then last is Posthog. So Posthog is kind of our analytics platform. We want to know what our users are doing and be able to control all forms of analytics there. So kind of with this in mind, it's like the full picture of how we work. And then we use Linear to plan. I'll stop here because I imagine there's a lot of questions on this process. Okay, I will do it at the... Right. Yes. So with this process, that means we have security, we have reliability, we have scale, and we have data integrity. I kind of think about this as a software factory. The more steps you have to go from point A to point B, the more deterministic you know things work. But with Lovable, it's a one shot, right? The point A to point B is just point A to point B. There's no guardrails, there's no steps in between. But if you want something production ready, you want a lot of steps in between, you want to know that certain things will happen in the process. Without it, you get a big bill. So whether it's a data breach, whether your system doesn't work under large loads, so people can't hit your APIs anymore, whether you have corrupted data since you didn't define the schema correctly and let AI go wild, or you lose trust in your customer and they don't see you as a reliable business anymore. So kind of our process is value before contract. So we want to show them something that they can use before they sign the contract. So it comes with fewer meetings, cheaper ideas, and then kind of how we go from that idea to something that they can run their business on. And that's the end of it, and now we can have questions. Yes, here's our QR code, so feel free to take pictures. Go ahead. Luckily, my co-founder was in procurement for Apple, so he knows the ins and outs of how to price an enterprise level like contracts. but it's case by case basis. A lot of it, we're looking at what are the existing tools? How much are they paying for that? Can we offer it at a fraction of that price? Usually, yes, because AI makes it so much easier to build. And what we've been finding is once we solve one problem for a client, they're like, oh, can you do this? Can you do that? So all of our clients, their contract value keeps getting higher and higher because we know how to make sense of their data, and they're trusting us more and more over time. When I create new capabilities, so it depends. So if it's on a roadmap and it fits like what we want to do long term, then it more aligns. There might be some exceptions with the customer that we're like doing one-offs. That costs more for us to dedicate that efforts. But what we're trying to do with our customers is like, how much overlap does it have with our roadmap and core product? So one of our enterprise customers was a production company. They're helping us build out the platform for all production companies. So this helps with building the platform exponentially, and there'll be a great case study of like, hey, we use SoundCheck. We went from 5 to 10 tools to 1, and how much value is that to businesses? Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yes. So I can show you an example of that. So this is our product. I did this earlier this week where I took our product. So one thing is make sure Lovable supports your tech stack. Luckily, they did with mine. We have like Next.js and all that. So what I did was in Cloud Code, I had Lovable MCP connector, connect in. Cloud Code has context of my whole code base and all the logic. So from there, I said, Claude, make a replica of our platform in Lovable. So now, this is more final state of where we want the product. Actually, this looks better than what we have for our customers, but it takes some time, right, to convert from like a very polished product that has a lot of features to what you already have originally. So there's a big gap in there, but at least we can showcase what we want the product to do. This is like a living artifact in the team, in our sales process, to be like, hey, this is what we're building for. And kind of the process to go from, so this created a homepage. Before we didn't have a homepage in our app, but where is it? But this is my prompt session from Claude. So what I said was, I want to make a homepage on the platform like this prototype. So I gave it the prototype with the homepage and was able to get everything. And let's see, I have the platform here. No, this is. Here's what happened. So this is the final conversion from Lovable to that product I was talking about. So I went through our workflow, but we don't have AI right now. We don't have a chatbot. it's going to take some more effort to get that up and running. I want to do a lot more testing. So it removed that and was able to generate everything else. So from here, there's not much difference, and this actually works in our product. So the nice thing with the Claude Code integration, it's able to have all the context that it needs, rather than like some tools, like it's missing context. So you're battling the agent, be like, no, why you do this? You have the reference and all that. So the more powerful the tool, the better context management it'll have. Any other questions? It does. So they're adding automations. They have their own AI router. So I actually made I made another demo. I made like my own harness in Lovable. So it's capable of doing that. So they have AI credits built in. So part of the build credits part, you can use AI credits as well. But let me. So here it's using, I made a chatbot, is using a harness, and maybe I can't see this, but from here it's able to like read, it's a bad demo gods. But what was your question again? Workflow and agents. So yes, agents, it's able to do that. You're able to queue up prompts if you want, and then you can always integrate it with Cursor or Claude Code. So you can use that as your agent, and then it's calling Lovable to update the website or create a super prompt so that it does all the nitty gritty stuff, because you can only accomplish so much with one prompt. So what you see here is a Claude Code prompt. So I wouldn't have been able to create this, maybe, but it would take me a long time to do so. So I use Claude to generate the prompts and plan for what I want the final solution to be. But there might be many, many steps to get there. So I think of it as layering. So you kind of want, like, when you build a house, you want a good foundation. So first you gotta, dig it up, put stuff on the floor, and then add like structure on top, and then build the roof and all that. Only then can you like add AI and electricity on top. But I think a lot of people forget to build the house first, and then it crumbles quite quickly. Yes. Our bottleneck is customers. So getting out, getting more customers, and that process. Constraints. Yes. So their enterprise tier has design system. I am not on it, but let me go to settings. So they have design system. You just have to pay more. So if you want to use a design system, you can upgrade their plan, or you just give Lovable the design system file and have that built off of it. Yeah. Good. Unfortunately, my ambassadorship ended yesterday. So not a lot of ways to get free credit. I can give you my referral code, and I think that gives you like 10 or something like that. But I think the free tier gives you 5 credits a day, something like that. And then I like to think about each credit as like 1 prompt, depending. So you get 5 questions, you get 5 prompts a day, 5 free prompts a day. So do what you want with that. Yeah. Yes. Yes, yes. Lots of problems. You're welcome. Thank you. This is what my team gets every day.
Because I want to post this on the LinkedIn too. Yeah. Smile, we're all happy. And I'm going to take a picture of all you guys. I'm so grateful you came. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. For all your big time questions.
Yeah, I got a lot of questions. I'm sure you'll have more.
They were deep, weren't they? And if you have any more, we can talk for